about you is different. Some kind of energy's messing with all the chemicals in my brain. Feel the temperature rising, that look in your eyes paralyzing. Forever you'll never leave in my face. Heart is racing here now, never wanna wait out. I want you right up to the end. Oh, you know what I'm feeling, even if it doesn't make sense. You don't have to guess, no, you're a mind reader. Something about you is different. Some kind of energy's messing with all the chemicals in my brain. Feel the temperature rising, that look in your eyes paralyzing. Forever you'll never leave in my veins. Heart is racing here now, never wanna wait out. I want you right up to the end. Oh, you know what I'm feeling, even if it doesn't make sense. You don't have to guess, no, you're a mind reader. Mind reader.
All right, what about now? Let me know if you can hear me now. I see a little icon here in the corner. Let me see. That's how I usually sit on the middle. All right, good. That's what it was. Okay, all right. Damn. Thank you, guys. Shit. Sorry. Not used to using the computer. So shout out to all you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Damn, 10 minutes in. That sucks. Kind of makes me want to start it over, but oh well. I'm just gonna free. I'm just gonna free. I'm just gonna free it. But hope everybody's doing well. And I had to take a break for a few days, kind of, and just from going back and forth with people. Um, just wanted to share some of this here on this stream because I've literally ran into 100%. Okay, not you know, not 10%, not 50, not 80, not 95. And I had to literally go back and touch up on my own to see, what, am I telling people the right information? So I actually had to go research myself and brush up and make sure like I ain't fucking crazy. Like I literally had to go do that. And what I found out is 100% of people who are in this political garbage, okay, even truthers, I mean, it just is what it is, don't understand the system that is in play, the system that's running, the system that's operating against them, and everybody's complaining about it. Everybody I came across, 100% don't even understand what system we're in. It truly is, honestly. That's why I had to take a break, man, because I just really couldn't believe it. I couldn't, even people that I thought were intelligent, that are really deep into politics, they don't understand what's going on, guys. And again, this is not going to be your truth or garbage. This is about to be real life. What's going on in your reality? What's going on in our reality? Okay, this is real life. There's no sugar. There's nothing. There's no. I mean, this is not a conspiracy theory. This is the system we're in. This is what everybody's complaining about. This is the solution to all of our problems that we're never going to get to, and it's going to be destroyed. All right. And this is why I come on here and I've been saying it for a long time. You're not fixing this. And people always say they got hope. Well, I just say that to make people feel good, right? But it is not. There's no hope for no system like this. There is no hope at all for a system that's being ran and portrayed like this. I mean, it just isn't. And literally the amount of people that have no clue what's going on is just staggering. Hold on one second. Hold on. It's really truly staggering. So, in case y'all, haven't realized or noticed, like I stumbled upon a scene in the city of Rochester. It started recording. Okay, record the entire thing. It's on the channel. So it's on the channel. Okay, I record the entire thing. I mean, we could watch it here together, and I could, show you. But I was really appalled at what I saw and what was unfolding. A lot of things were going through my mind. But in a nutshell, the Rochester Police Department, didn't follow policy, and they got caught with the hand in the cookie jar. And the other two agents, they didn't follow it either. But it is what it is. And the thing about it is, I believe in freedom, liberty, justice, rights, all that. I believe in all that stuff, right? So when I studied the law, I understand the Constitution, what it's for. So therefore, I I don't want to say believe, but I know what it is. It is what it is, you know, and I could stand on it, you know, and use it, stand beside it because it's for us. It benefits us. Oh damn, let me get back to the comments. You know, so what ended up happening is they got in trouble, you know, made the news, big news locally. Then it hit the state, and then it went all the way down to, you know, to the damn, you know, Trump administration. You know, so you know, it was a pretty big story, but nonetheless, I just been talking to people on, you know, on like I'll read real quick a what I'm talking about, you know. But in a nutshell, it boils down to, you know, obviously morals and principles, but it also boils down to there's a law here. If we gotta go abide by it, they gotta abide by it. And what is happening is this big uproar was, oh, you know, they should be able to do whatever they want and help no matter what. No, no, okay. Well, I overstand, you know, agencies all helping each other. I overstand. That's not even the point is how they spend it into a psychological operation. And how they spend it was, you know, they support what the Rochester police did in helping the federal law enforcement. Okay. And I'm going to read to you what what these people said. Okay. Which is very alarming and is going to be the whole point of this video on how 100% of people don't understand what kind of system we're in. You know, I've even talked to people that believe in the Constitution wholeheartedly, that, you know, wave the American flag and call themselves American. I call them U.S. citizens. But even them that are so deeply embedded in this don't even understand it, because if you think that's okay, oh, all the legal should be gone. Okay, that's what they deserve. There's nothing to talk about. I said, wait a minute, hold on, wait, stop, wait. What are you saying? There's nothing to talk about. No, there is a lot to talk about because you believe in freedom, liberty, and justice, right? And this is the thing. That was one of the only fucking things I learned in school was the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Point blank. Hey, you don't got to tell me nothing else. I used to, honestly, it was the only time I paid attention in school when that damn Pledge of Allegiance came on for some odd reason. You know, it always touched me. The only class I was ever good at when I visited school was, you know, in high school was U.S. history and government. You know, I aced that class, you know, because I was like, yeah, honestly, this shit don't make sense to me. So what I did is I absorbed it because I read it. I was learning, like, this shit makes no sense to me. You know, that I aced everything, but it didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, how? I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. But by me diving in it, learning it, I retained it all. It's the only thing that I actually retained in school besides gym, lunch, and playing cards and skipping class and doing whatever the hell else I was doing. You know, the only things I retained. So, you know, dealing with all these different people coming to me, you know, news station asking permission to use the video, but use the video. Not one of them uses me talking in them, which is unbelievable. No one has, not one, and there's not one video anywhere of this story, you know, millions and millions and millions of time being shown my video with my voice talking. Why? Because I narrated the whole shit and exactly what they're doing and caught off every angle possible, okay, that they can't show the goddamn video. you know? And all it was, hey, listen, I could agree. People got to come in the right way. Do I care? I don't give a fuck. That's freedom and liberty. I don't give a fuck how they come over here. And I've been arguing with people back and forth about, is it legal? Listen, just because something is illegal doesn't mean it's immoral and wrong. Okay, going 35 in a 30 is considered breaking the law, but is it? There's nothing. It does not harm anything morally, physically, spiritually, it's nothing. Okay, you went 5. It's nothing. Okay, it's the same thing. All right, somebody coming over here, whether it's a piece of paper or not, does not. I don't give a flying fucking hell about. I don't care about that system. All right, but it's in place. Should they? Yeah. If they don't, I don't care. Because guess what? The law says what it says. Okay. Point blank period. There's no going around it. All right. And this has just been the debate back and forth with so many different things. And all I'm saying is my fellow brothers and sisters don't believe in the Constitution. They don't believe in freedom and liberty. 100% of them don't believe in it. All right. Now this trickles down into the whole truth community. All right. No, they don't give no one in truth. They give a fuck about spaceships and, flat earths and numbers and fucking whatever the hell else is out there. All right. That's all they give a fuck about. Shit that does have nothing to do with everyday life, which is right now, what they're attacking and destroying right before our very eyes. All right. And I'm going to break it down to where it ain't no denying what the hell is happening and break it down. So one person, as long as one person gets it, okay, I've done my job. People don't know how this system works. Now, I've been talking to voters. I've been talking to both sides, conservatives, just, your cop supporters, your freaking people that are agreeing with me, liberals, everything in between. And nobody understands how this system works. Nobody at all. Okay? At all. Let me know if y'all can still hear me. Let me know if y'all could give me a thumbs up. Let me see. Goddamn, hopefully y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? It looks like the microphone's still moving. So, all right, appreciate it. All right, so, oh man, I mean, this is gonna be a lot of information. Okay, a lot of information you probably haven't heard before, but again, this is the system we live in. All right. Now, I like to use the word, I'm gonna try to share my screen, right? I'm gonna try to use this screen sharing crap. See how it works. Share screen. This one. All right. No, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do it like that. Okay, let me see. See if it shows up. All right, it's not working how I think it would work. Oh, you know what? I gotta remove that. Okay. Let me see how to do this shit now. All right. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, wait. Oh my God. Let me go back. Screen share. Window. Okay. There we go. All right. Now, hopefully, y'all can read this and see this. And I'll read it on the other screen, right? This is what people are. All right, we already know this, but I like to really let it set in. And now I'm using a computer so I can do this. Now, ignorant. All right, destitute of knowledge, uninstructed or uninformed, untaught, unenlightened. A man may be ignorant of the law or of any art of science. He may be ignorant of his own rights or of the rights of others. Okay. Now, this is the definite. People use the word ignorant. Okay. I understand what ignorant means. All right. This is 1828 Webster's Dictionary. Okay. I got it here on the floor, but I also got it right here on the screen. Okay. So that's 1828. All right. And notice what's in there. Actually, the first one that's in there under the word ignorant. This ain't no law dictionary. This is the dictionary, 1828. All right. 1776 was the inception of, this current, charter company, right? And the first one it has an ignorant is destitute of knowledge, okay? Uninstructed or uninformed, untaught, unenlightened. Think about that, because the law has come from the age of enlightenment, okay? Whatever happened, who knows? It could have been some wake, but if you understand the confounds of law, it's for everybody. Did people take it and use it for their own benefit? Absolutely, they did. But at one point, it was what it was, okay? It was exactly what it was. Since 1828, I believe there's been a reset. So, hey, you can believe whatever you want. I believe I'm probably, 51% that there's been a reset within this time frame, okay? So whatever occurred, I don't know. I'm still, doing the research. But anyways, okay. Does my little mouse show on the damn screen? Oh, yeah, it does. Okay. Now, right here, a man may be ignorant of the law or of any art or science. He may be ignorant of his own rights or of the rights of others. Now, this is what is going on, where people are voting, screaming at the top of their lungs, protesting, doing everything in between for their rights right now, right? For all of their rights, okay? That's what everything is about. Free speech, the right to do this, the right to everything is about rights. Everything is being, that's where it is. I don't care if you're a truther, a Democrat, Republican, a Rainbow Club member, whoever, everybody is talking about our rights. Even if they ain't paying attention, even if they're not nowhere around, you'll hear in passing, I know my rights, or I got a right, or I got a right to do this. Well, I'm sorry, but if you're ignorant, okay, you think for 1 second you got any goddamn rights? Okay? All right. A man may be ignorant of the law or of any art or science. He may be ignorant of his own rights or the rights of others. For me, the rights of others is more important than one's own rights. Okay? Because if you actually cared about other people's rights, that is something that is instilled inside of you. Okay. That's automatic. All right. So when you're out here, traveling these realms in the internet and truther world, or you're talking to the sheep flock friends or wherever you're at. Okay. If you're around someone that don't give a fuck about other people's rights, you can best believe 100% they're ignorant of their own rights, okay? Because when you know your rights, you feel for other people. And that's what my whole situation was with that incident. I felt bad because, damn, the law is the law. The policy is there. They ain't supposed to be doing it. This is wrong, all right? What is it? It's people ignorant of all this shit, right? A man may be ignorant of the law. Boom. He may be ignorant of his own rights or the rights of others. That's an ignorant motherfucker right there. Okay. Ignorant. That is an ignorant person. Point blank, period. And that's sad. You know, that's sad when you hear people saying other people could be violated. Okay. Other people, rights don't matter. Sit up here. I mean, I'm gonna read some of the comments and shit from this garbage I'm talking about, and some of the headlines, people sharing it. What do we got? I mean, there's so many people sharing these posts of, let me see what this post was. Let me go ahead and get off. I can stop the screen share now and get back over here. Shout out to everybody. Okay. No, this was, I'll get into this one later. All right. What this person posted. If anybody is on, Facebook watching this shit, y'all need to wake the fuck up. Y'all haven't seen the shit I've been posting. Okay. Y'all done seeing the comments, seeing the shit this is where I come from. All right. I come from understanding what y'all have no fucking clue about. All right. So you shouldn't even be mentioning the Constitution. You shouldn't be mentioning anything about rights because you don't even know your own rights. Okay. You don't know your own rights. So where are we going to go? All right. There's one post. Okay. What was the post about now? And this is alarming because these people are amongst us. And this is the purpose of every single thing they're doing. Okay. Now, this is the one I read the other day. Right. Once again, prioritizing illegal immigrants over American citizens. Troopers swear an oath to the Constitution, not you, Hope. Well, it was the governor of New York State, which is some kind of witch. Okay. Pledges state police won't help ICE despite pact with renegade counties. That was the headline of the story. Then they captioned it as New York State Police, you're going to have to decide whether you want to follow the Constitution or follow tyrant Hochul. Now, these are all people who are so, this is from a group called the 1971 Society. I don't even want to know what that is about, but apparently they don't know nothing about the Constitution, okay? At all, zip zero, okay? So they believe that these troopers need to follow their oath to the Constitution, but don't understand, okay? Don't understand that, they don't understand. 1 second. They don't understand that they are following their constitutional rights, okay? I mean, they are following the Constitution because the Constitution simply states, let me go through my notes, all right? Let me go through my notes. Let me go through my notes. I got a lot of notes to go through, guys. Sorry about that. But think about like the ignorance of people around. And these people vote, guys. What's scary is these people vote. And what you have to understand is they're voting for a democracy, okay? They're voting for a democracy, okay? That is dangerous, guys. They don't understand this process. I just got done with a whole conversation with somebody who's a Republican who said they voted for the Republic government. I said that's impossible because the Democratic and Republican parties are administrations to a democracy. You can't even debate that. So that's what you voted for. The Republic is not self-executing, meaning they ain't gonna put you there. Okay, you have to put yourself there. That's what I've been doing, okay, in my life for a long time. And when you want to stand on business, that's where you're at. You're not, yelling at the top of your lungs. You're not, you know, getting 3 minutes at a fucking board meeting or some stupid shit. You're not doing none of that shit because you're going by the confines of that piece of paper, the Constitution, and you're putting these people in the confines of case precedent, case laws according to that Constitution. And they are hereby going to have to go by that Constitution. Okay. Forget all these people who say, oh, it's just a piece of paper. Okay. That's the only reason why we still able to talk on these internet platforms. That's the only reason why we're still be able to do 70 to 85% of the stuff we do now is because of that piece of paper. If that was not here, we might be already laying down in the bed somewhere with fucking goggles on our head, just talking to each other through that, being a battery for some kind of fucking system, and the rest of the people be totally eliminated. Where they're headed, where we're headed anyway. Okay. Now, where are we at? Because people don't understand. When it holds the immigration stuff, guys, there's a process. Okay. There's a process. All right. And I've been telling y'all for a long time, people ain't illegal. Okay. People waiting proceedings is not illegal. All right. They're going through the process. They don't have it yet. Okay. So now, you have, you have, okay. Now, guys, I want to give you the right 100% information so you can go look it up yourself. Okay. I'd like to know where the hell all my notes have gone. Okay, hold on. No, that's that. Oh, sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. No, I'm going to go through it. I'm going to knock out this immigration part first, and then I go into that. Wow, this is interesting. Let me know if y'all still hear me. Sorry if I'm boring you guys, but I'm about to, yesterday. Wow. I don't know where this is hiding. Hold on, guys. I don't know where all this is hiding. See if I wasn't on a computer. Okay, here we go. 601. Okay. And again, people are saying, "Oh, who cares?" But people need to understand how what's good, Brock, deep this goes. Okay, because as long as they have you disregarding what your nation was built upon, they're going to take it, and that's what you see now. Okay, what you see now is how they're taking everything from us. Okay, whether you want to believe it or not, hey, that's on you. Okay, both these administrations, okay, their job is to form a democracy, which will lead to authoritarianism, which will lead to a straight communist nation. All right, exactly what they're doing is, my wife say this shit. Okay, her lineage comes from Taiwan, and no, it's China. Okay, tell me about this. She says the same thing, just like China, just like China. They already inherently know this. Some of her friends have said the same thing. They see it. They worried, because they don't. This is past. This is in their DNA still. Okay, she laughs at me sometimes when I talk about the history. She, oh my God, history is only like 300 years old. They shit go back 5,000 years. They know the history over there. 5,000 years. Oh, we ain't got that over here. And that's why this is so important, man. Not even this, who gives a shit? It's about understanding what they're doing, what they're attempting to do, okay? And where all the protections come from. People say, oh no, they're on, man, they know this, they're not actually, okay? They are, but they're not. They're gonna be, but you got the power. This was set up, okay? And you got the power. If you didn't have the power, they would not be doing the stuff that they're doing. Okay, that's why we have the power. All right. Now let me just do this real quick. Hold on, let me go this. Let me do this crap. All right, hold on. Hold on. Can't believe I can't find it. Okay. Now, no. I think I found it. And remember, I talked about this when that case happened in Illinois, where about the gun rights, and how everybody was all in an uproar and like, oh my God, look at this, an illegal, but missed the simple fact that, okay, this guy was an illegal, what y'all call illegal, that had an illegal firearm, and they ruled that because he didn't commit no crimes, he didn't do anything. I'm gonna read the shit. No. It's all this talking and people saying, "Oh, you just talk, you didn't talk," because they're ignorant. They don't want to look for themselves. So, all right, hold on. Okay, Illinois case. Boom. Okay, now. I don't want to read the whole case, but I don't want to read the whole case. I want to get a brief. I want to get a brief of this case real quick. Hold on. All right, that'll be that one. Then we're gonna do another one. I don't know. Do it like this. Come on, man. Why you be doing all this? All right, all right. I want to get that Zach. Okay, here we go. Okay, so sorry guys, it's gonna be one of those, on the fly. All right. What the heck is that? See, it's crazy, man. Our devices be strictly tailored to us because computer is way different. Okay, is this it? Read more. Okay. Nope, that's not it. Come on, man. But anyways, okay. I find it, but videos and shit, I'm not gonna watch no video. I got it on my phone, but I want to show you guys. But anyways, what it is the court ruled that because he didn't commit a crime, he wasn't committed a crime with the gun. He was using it in the time of civil unrest during the George Floyd shit. They stated he had a right. His immigration status did not bar him from his constitutional rights because of what the Constitution states that under man, this is just ridiculous. It's crazy how this computers are all totally different than a phone. Okay. It says, ruled that Flores had no criminal record and the circumstances behind his arrest were nonviolent, so he should not be deprived of his Second Amendment right to bear arms in self-defense. Never been convicted of felony, never a violent crime or a crime involving use of a weapon, even in the present case. He used a handgun, was using a handgun solely for protection of property during a time of documented civil unrest in spring of 2020. This decision only applies on this specific case, not to all undocumented immigrants in the United States. Also, it does not take into account any local law and state laws of Illinois. Okay. But under the main, federal case, okay, it was deemed he's got a second, can't be deprived of his Second Amendment, right? Now, it says, man. The only one I got is this giant case. But anyways, guys, under the Constitution, the Second Amendment, he could have a gun. Okay. Why? Because even if someone is here illegally, they still have constitutional rights. The Supreme Court has repeatedly ruled that the Constitution protects persons, not just citizens. Okay. Due process rights under the 5th and 14th Amendments. The government cannot deprive any person, okay, of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. That means undocumented immigrants, right? Who is protected? All persons in the U.S., including documented immigrants, right? Key case, Yatama versus Fisher, 1903, okay? The Supreme Court ruled that immigrants, even if undocumented, must receive a fair hearing before deportation. Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. States cannot discriminate against immigrants without compelling reasons. All right. Case Pyler versus Doe, 1982, struck down a Texas law that denied public education to undocumented children, ruling that all children have the rights to education. All right. The 4th Amendment. Protection against unreasonable searches and seizures, which happened there in Rochester, New York, where they cannot do none of that. Not one of them agencies can't even do that. Why? Because they're protected under that right there. The Constitution of the United States. That's all people. That means all humans. Okay? All humans. So this turns people into racists. Okay? Talking that rhetoric is just honestly, it's racist. It really is, right? Now, against unreasonable searches and seizures, right? 4th Amendment. Immigration officers cannot search, detain, or arrest someone without a valid reason. They had the whole video with a regular traffic stop. They pulled them over in unmarked vehicles. So add that, okay? Which that's a whole nother bag of bones, okay? All right. Key case, Amelia versus Sanchez versus United States, 1973, limited warrantless searches by Border Patrol away from the border, which was case in Rochester, right? Important note, border searches have fewer protection within 100 miles of the border. Agents have more power to conduct searches, right? They got a right to remain silent, which what they were doing, right? And what are they doing? Forcing them, all right? Now, I don't give a fuck about the situation. I don't care who it is. I don't care what it was, who it is, what it was. The law. If we lose the law, if government agencies that make the laws start to break the laws, that's the true definition of tyranny, okay? That's the true definition of authoritarianism, right? That's the true definition of communism, right? Oh, we're going to uphold all your rights, but when it's time to break them, okay, what'd you say on that internet? You mean to tell me you're not staying in the house, right? Remember during 2020, 2021, 2022, stay inside, stay indoors. Now, when I saw that incident, that's all I could think about is, damn, they got public health officials, right? They ain't got no power. But what if they had the police power behind them from some federal order, right? Oh, protect your rights. Oh, Donald Trump, the orange talking tangerine comes on afterwards, during it, comes on and says, well, the first pandemic, we get it, but this one is more serious. So therefore, we're going to come in hard to stop the scourge. All right. And boom. Now those immigrants turn into y'all motherfuckers that's locked down, believing there's some kind of shit going on and believing these people got the power. They don't. But if you give them by little incidents like this and say, yeah, for a little ass bullshit immigration shit, oh, imagine when that scourge comes, right? Imagine when Mr. Bill Gates himself links back up with Mr. Donnie, right? And they got the other henchman now, the guy that, if all the signs of a psychopath don't come out when you see that, RFK or, I don't know what else to tell you. You have no discernment. Your body does not give off any kind of warning signs to you that something's wrong here. Okay. So that's all I saw in this situation on how far they can go with this. If you just say, okay, if you just say, you know what, they need, we don't care. If you agree with this, you can't even mention the Constitution. You are straight. No, you're against it. You're against it because it is what it is. You want to change it, then now you open up the door for a straight tyranny. Okay. Now, the right to remain silent, that's the Fifth and Sixth Amendment of the United States Constitution, guys. What it means is the immigrants have the right to remain silent if questioned by ICE or law enforcement. They ain't got to say shit to y'all motherfuckers, right? Why? They need to have a warrant, and that's after due process by a judge that found out, okay, these people are either dangerous or these people, they overstayed their thing, so it's not going to be a felony warrant, but they got to be deported, and whenever we catch them, they'll be deported. We don't need to go out and get these motherfuckers, okay? Because another thing that people don't know, and I've been arguing back and forth about, they're criminals. They came in illegally, so that means they're criminal. No, the fuck it's not. It's called civil. It's a civil. Civil is not criminal. Point blank, period. There's no going around that, all right? They have a right to attorney in criminal cases, but not in deportation cases, okay? Why? How are they going to be represented in a civil proceeding? Criminal one, yeah, all right? Now, the key case is Miranda versus Arizona. Remember your Miranda rights? Oh, Miranda versus Arizona, 1966, established Miranda rights, which apply to all persons in the U.S. That's every fucking body. You don't pick and choose, okay? You don't pick and choose. All right. You do not pick and choose. If you believe in the Constitution, we can't even say believe, because that's what these motherfuckers are doing. They believe in the Constitution like religion, but they don't really practice it. They don't really interpret it in their life. They don't walk around with it. They don't give a shit about it. They don't understand what the republic is, so they don't give a fuck, okay? They don't care. They just believe in it. So I can't even say that. I got to say stand on it. If you can't stand on it, then shut the fuck up, because we'll go back to, we'll go back to this right here, Webster's Dictionary, right? We share the Webster's Dictionary again. You go right back to that term right there, ignorant, all right? If they can't understand that it's all persons, right, in the U.S., that's everybody. That means nobody is singled out, okay? Now they got a right to work, labor protections. All right, they got that. Where'd that come from? Oh, that came from your Constitution, okay? That came from the Constitution. All workers, regardless of immigration status, are protected by minimum wage laws, workplace safety laws, and anti-discrimination law. Why? Because of the same piece of paper that you say, they can come out and say, oh, Hochul's this, and tell the state police they can't do this. And then you, because you believe some shit, say they need to uphold the Constitution. Well, motherfucker, they are. You want them to violate it. See how that works? If they get y'all stupid asses to violate it, then they can violate it in other aspects. Remember when you were screaming and crying, all you conservatives and Republicans, about how you were being fired and singled out and all that other stuff and using the Constitution? It's all right. It's all right. Now you want to tell some motherfuckers they got to go home? Man, this is called a Jedi mind trick to say we need to hang these motherfuckers because they don't even care about nobody but they damn self. They need to die. They need to go. They are putting morals and principles against you. And you can't see that, this is mind blowing to me. And I told you, 100% of people don't know the system we live in. 100%. It's not. I'm appalled at this shit. Nobody, not one person. I done talked to some really intelligent people. Hey, I can't believe it. It's mind blowing to me, man. And what is it? Ignorant. Okay? A man may be ignorant of the law or of any art or science. He may be ignorant of his own rights or the rights of others. Okay? Ignorant. Ignorant. Unbelievable, guys. So, all right. So, no. I don't know if I want to take the turn yet over here, right? Okay, but what undocumented immigrants, they have constitutional rights, but they have some restrictions. All right. They don't have a right to vote. Only U.S. citizens can vote in federal elections. Some local elections allow non-citizens to vote. Oh, now you hear, they're voting. These illegal immigrants are voting. Well, some places allow this shit. All right. They allow it. They have limit to access to public benefits. Most undocumented immigrants cannot receive welfare, food stamps, or Social Security except emergency medical care, because no one can be refused for medical care, right? And they don't have no automatic stay right in the United States. Unlike citizens, they can be detained and deported. But what they're not telling you is, okay, if the country does not take them back, okay, or they're in fear of going back to their country, guess where they get to stay? And you can't deny it. Yep, right here in the good old United States of America, the good old United States of America. And just like I told this one motherfucker here in Rochester, New York, okay, there was a store clerk shot and killed a few days prior to that incident. The day after that incident happened, right across the street, a store clerk was attempted robbed, and the store clerk got the best of the robber. Okay, I don't know the condition of the shit now, but someone had the nerve to make a post and say, no one's, the mayor isn't talking about the legal immigrant that was shot and killed in the store. I'm like, what? Wait a minute. Like, this is how backwards these motherfuckers be thinking? Wait a minute. What kind of backward ass statement is that? That was a literal sentence, was what I just said, was a legal immigrant was shot to death in his store, and you're not worried about that. You're worried about the police, what they did helping the agents. And I'm like, yeah, I agree with that shit. Not with what they said. I agree with, the mayor said, look, bitch, we a sanctuary city. What the fuck is y'all doing? What are y'all doing? But yet these motherfuckers say that, and the thing about it is, guys, the legal immigrant was shot by the last name Brown. And it was a brown person that went in there, shot him. And guess who caught him? Well, I mean, he was caught by the RPD. I heard he made bond. I don't know, whatever. But he was caught by the police. So they did their job. They got him. Okay? That's what they're supposed to be doing, getting the piece of shits off the fucking streets that's causing all this chaos, okay? They did that. I mean, they did their job. What did he got to come say? So then the people could say, I don't even like these people. I'm not even into politics. But common sense is common sense. What are you going to say? They're doing their job. They're supposed to catch the person. They got him. This is a backwards ass thinking. And then they had the nerve to say a legal immigrant was shot. Wait a minute. But the illegal immigrants ain't committing no crime in the RPD going after them. The illegal immigrants, most of them, I would say 85% of them, ain't bothering a goddamn person. Okay? And somebody else said to me, 60 million people came in illegally and they all want to kill us. I said, okay. I said it just like this. I said, let me see if they were fucking responding. I mean, listen to this ignorant. These are people that are in the politics. These are people that go, guys, these are fucking people who vote. Think about that. These people are voting for this shit. These people with these mentalities are voting for representatives. I mean, they ain't voting for me. They're not voting for me, but they voting for y'all. Y'all better get right. That's what I told you. They better get right. Get with the program, man. Understand this system, because that's the shit that they want y'all in. Okay? So this person had the nerve. Okay? Let me see this comment. Hold on. Let me go back. It was like this morning. Come on, man. Okay, we keep going back. But this person came out of their mouth, said this stupid shit. Okay. And I probably can't go on. Wait. Hold on. Let me see. This is wild stuff, man. Not that dumb fuck. Let's see, where's it at? People be deleting their comments, boy. A lot of comments, people, they look stupid and they just delete their comments. And that's what probably happened. Hold on. Oh, wait. Yeah. The comment you were replying to has been deleted because they make them look stupid and they deleted it. Never mind. They deleted the fucking comment. They deleted the comment, but they said that 60 million people, illegals came in and they all want to kill us. I said simple, just like this. I said, okay. I was driving at the moment. I said, look, everybody's going to work. Everybody's going to school. People are playing outside. Everybody's, out, enjoying the spring. Where are all these people that's trying to kill us? The immigrants that are being pulled over and taken out of here and deported away from their families or whatever's going on. I don't follow it all, whatever. There might be some resistance here and there. Okay. But they're not harming anybody. They're trying to kill us? Well, they would kill the cops because they wouldn't want to get caught, and then they would try to come kill us. So just tell me where they're at. Who told you that? Question mark. They deleted the damn comment. Because how could you say something? And a lot of people believe that. They're here to kill us. Well, the police come apprehend them. They don't even resist. Where's the killing coming in? No, they need you to adopt this because it goes against the Constitution. If you're okay with that, you're okay with people who are against a certain party. You're okay with them being hauled off to jail because you vote for it, right? You put your energy into it, right? As long as they got the majority, they can run a democratic administration, okay? And that's going to be the next part of this, all right? Because this is education, This is education right here. So that's the whole thing about the immigration shit, all right? It blew my mind because people are ignorant of the rights of others, all right? I tell people, I don't like the rainbow shit. I don't like the shit they doing, but hey, they got a right to do it. As long as they ain't harming nobody, they got a right to do it. You may not like it, but I can't say, look, man, y'all motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Just like y'all got a right to say all this stupid shit. I can't say, look, man, I want them removed from society. People don't even people want to talk about, politics and all this shit. But when you get deep, they don't want to talk about the politics and shit. I mean, it's just truly mind blowing. I'm in a group called some type of coalition of the states, and I'm in another one, Constitution, and I'm like, does anybody even understand the shit that they're talking about in here? They're like, oh, here you go with your crazy rhetoric. Oh, I always drop the source, the facts, and everything in between, But let me know if y'all can still hear me. Let me wake y'all up real quick with my disclaimer. Whoever that one fuck is, Garrett, wake up. All right, let me make sure y'all can hear me. Let me make sure you can hear me real quick. Give me a thumbs up, whatever. Thanks, Brock. Whoever's rocking out, shout out to you guys. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to each and every. Let me log into LexisNexis. Let me log into LexisNexis. This is about to be some real information. All right, thanks, guys. What's good, Child of Light 144? Shout out to you from Denmark. That's what's up. So now we go into, people don't understand. People are ignorant, right? People are ignorant, uninstructed, uninformed, untaught, unenlightened. Notice unenlightened is in there. All right. That's another thing, man. Like, don't wake up. Become enlightened. Enlighten yourself. All right. Because all these things go reverse. An enlightened person, right? Check this out. Let me go ahead and bring this back up. Let me bring this back up. I didn't even realize this was going to be like the center of the screen right here. But look how, okay, ignorant, destitute of knowledge, uninstructed or uninformed, untaught, unenlightened. A man may be ignorant of the law or any art or science. He may be ignorant of his own rights or the rights of others. Now, flip this backwards, right? What if you're not ignorant, right? What if you're enlightened, right? When you're enlightened, what? Taught turns into teaching, right? Uninformed turns into informed, right? Uninstructed turn into instruct, right? You can instruct people, right? Destitute of knowledge turns into knowledge. Simple as that. And then it turns into a man may be not ignorant of the law or any art or science, and he may not be ignorant of his own rights or the rights of others. Simple. Simple and plain, plain and simple. And that's how it should be. So, and I could not believe 100% of the people, you can't even tell them shit. They're illegals when they're not illegals. Okay? They're not illegals. Oh, man. All right, we're going into LexisNexis, right? That's law, like, that's like law. It's like a law dictionary, law readings, case law, everything in between. That's where lawyers go to, is LexisNexis or Westlaw. I'm talking about Google search. I'm talking about the actual shit where you got to log in. Okay. Now, what the hell? Okay, the hell? My computer center on my ass. Okay. So, all right. Now, this is where you need to know where you sit and how your system is operated, right? Now, when it comes to immigration, all right, they're violations, all right? They're civil offenses. I already went through that, okay? And it's been ruled on with case law. Why? Because it's the Constitution of the United States, okay? Now, how does it turn criminal? Of course, if you commit crimes, just like anybody else, you know, it's if you commit crimes, right? So, let's go into here. I'm gonna pop off. All right. This Constitution thing, right? This thing right here. I don't have a picture of the Constitution. I'm gonna put this back up. Right? This right here. The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a republic form of government, right? Well, here's the key, and here's the kicker. Okay? Nobody is voting for a Republican. My dog. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. My dogs was barking. So sorry about that. I can't block that out. So most people, I'm gonna tell you, all people that I've come across don't understand that you have administrations. Look, the Trump administration, the Biden, they don't lie to us. Trump administration, Biden administration, Trump administration, Obama administration, Bush administration, the Clinton administration. Okay, but they don't, they say democracy. They say Republicans and Democrats and Republicans and Democrats. Okay, and just like I told somebody today, I said, you don't vote for no damn republic. Okay, point blank, period. Right? A republic is fundamentally established by a nation's constitution, which outlines the structure of government, the rule of law, and the protection of citizens' rights. The United States, the Constitution established establishes the country as a republic. Section 4 states the United States shall guarantee exactly what it says on the screen. Every state of this union, a republican form of government, right? Now, the republic is distinct from a monarchy or a dictatorship because it's based on representative democracy and the rule of law rather than hereditary rule or autocratic control, right? Now, the republic is fundamentally established by the Constitution, okay, which is the principle of sovereignty under international law, okay, outlined in the United Nations Charter, okay, all right, and it's internationally recognized with treaties, all right, diplomatic recognition, all right, international, remember, I always talked about this for a long time, I don't even talk about it anymore, right? The international human rights law, the ICCPR, right? That all comes from the Constitution of the United States, all right? So the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, okay? Explicitly states it's, the Republican form, right? It says it's based off of establishing a government based on the separation of powers, federalism, and representative democracy. Now, representative democracy is what people don't understand, okay? Now, with the representative of democracy, right? Check this out. Now, this comes from, the Federalist Papers. Yeah, what I'm doing is I'm reading through a lot of shit right now to try to put this all together the best I can without reading the entire thing, right? Now, people do not vote for a republic, okay? You can't vote for a republic. It just is what it is. You look at the early voting in this country, it was based off landowners, and it's kind of not fair, but that was how it was done. Again, I believe there was a reset at some point, because when you're looking at the law, how this stuff is structured, it don't make sense, The law makes sense, but what we've been taught don't make sense, okay? Now, the early history of the United States, the idea of direct voting for many government positions was including the presidency and the Senate and the senators, right? It was not originally a part of the system, right? It was due to the founders' concerns about direct democracy and their preference for a constitutional republic, where elected representatives make decisions on the behalf of the people. And that's what doesn't happen today, okay? And it says, why didn't we always vote directly in a republic? Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution. The founders designed the Electoral College to elect the president rather than a direct popular vote. Okay, we already know a lot of this shit. But I'm going to go into where people don't understand this shit, okay? And then this was meant to prevent mob rule and ensure that states, particularly smaller ones, had influence. Senators were originally appointed, not elected, until 1913. Before the 17th Amendment, 1913, state legislators chose U.S. senators rather than the public voting for them. The idea was to give states a direct role in federal governance. The fear of pure democracy, the founders, especially figures like James Madison and Alexander Hamilton, which wrote if you read their writings, it's unbelievable. It's a complete 360 of what we know and what is running right now, okay? It just totally is. But they were wary of direct democracy, fearing that it could lead to instability and tyranny of the majority. What the fuck are people voting for today? Democracy. Now, this was fear of pure democracy. I'm going to pull it up. All right. I'm going to pull up to show you guys. All right. Matter of fact, I'm going to stop right now. The fear of pure democracy. The founders, especially figures like James Madison and Alexander Hamilton, were wary of direct democracy, fearing it could lead to the instability and tyranny of the majority. Instead, they established a representative system where citizens elect representatives, but those representatives make most of the actual decisions. And this is where that shit went wrong, right? Think about it. They established a representative system. Now, I don't want to break that whole thing down, but your representatives, okay, are supposed to be like, bitch, y'all do this shit. We all telling you to do this. You better do it or you're out of here. We're going to put somebody else in here to do it because we, the people, say this ain't right. Oh, that's gone. That is long fucking gone. Okay. Long gone. All right. That's long gone. So all this shit, everything everybody's fighting for is already here. It ain't going nowhere. You just have administration, democratic administrations masquerading as the fucking government, and they're not the goddamn government. And right now with this talking tangerine, let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me know if y'all can hear me. And the talking fucking tangerine, right, is convincing everybody, of this very same thing that presidents feared, right? And then it goes into, who could vote early, landowners and, Europeans and shit. They try to say white, but you get into that, it's deeper than that. All right. Okay. This is why you can't vote for a republic. Thank you, Child of Light. Thank you. Let me know that we're still good. This is why you cannot vote for a republic. All right. You're not voting for a republic. You can, but there's not a process to do it. Okay. Not the way you've been taught. All right. I mean, this is all in front of our faces. You're voting for a democracy. Okay. Let me flip gears. Hold on. Let me put up. What are the flawed? What are the flawed? And I'm going to share the screen so people can see it so they don't think I'm fucking, pulling shit out of my ass. All right. No, that ain't the one I'm looking for. Damn, I hear fireworks. Okay, hold on. That ain't it. Hold on. Man, it's so hard to find shit on the damn. Let's see if this is it. Yeah. Maybe this is it. Okay, yeah. This is kind of, I don't really believe in the verbiage, but you'll see. Okay, I could use this map because I can click on it. Yeah, I can click on it. I think we'll use this one. Share the screen. See if it comes up. And it doesn't look like I see it on the screen. Okay, there it goes. Okay. Now, this is the state around the world, right? Now, we'll look at over here. The United States. See that? Flawed democracy. Flawed. Okay? And here goes full democracy nations right here. 25, Flawed, 46. Hybrid, 36. Authoritarian, 60. Okay. 60 authoritarian, nations. Okay. Look at the United States. Flawed democracy. Okay. Now, hold on 1 second. One second. Now I'm going to read this shit and tell me, what they're doing. And again, this is kind of long, but you'll get the picture. Okay, here's another one. All right. Flawed democracy. All right. Flawed democracies are nations where elections are fair and free and basic civil liberties are honored, but may have issues. Media, freedom infringement, and minor suppression of political opposition and critics. These nations have significant faults in other democratic aspects, including underdeveloped political culture, low levels of participation in politics, and issues in functioning of governance. Well, what? Participation in politics? Well, that's all they've been promoting for how many years? Well, why are they promoting it, guys? Because they need you to participate to get that democracy to a pure democracy. All right. And it says an issue with function of government. So they have to look like they're in dysfunction. These motherfuckers can function. Okay. These governments can function. They don't want to. Why? Because they want a full democracy. All right. Flawed democracies with certain defects can also be named as defective democracies. The concept was proposed by political scientist Wolfgang Merkel, whatever. We're not going to read all that. Different forms of defective democracies: exclusive democracies, domain democracies, liberal democracies. Well, the one we may be under may be a liberal democracy. That's why you see all the same stuff, right? Each varying with specifics of what makes said democracies defective. How each nation reaches the point of being flawed, defective democracy varies on case-by-case basis, but with many common themes. One reoccurring theme, which has a major impact on the nation's democracy, is the geographical location of the nation. This can have major impact due to surrounding nations and their influence they can have over other nations in the region. Other causes for defective democracies are path of modernization, level of modernization, economic trends, social capital, civil society, political institutions, and educations. All right. Now, we can go back to this one over here. Stop down. We'll go back to this one. And you can go ahead and share this shit again. Right? And just look. Let me see the visualization. Data sources. Okay, this doesn't show all the, what the hell is this? Oh, that's the economy. The Economist. So, let me close that one. So yeah, there you have it. Flawed democracy. So now we get back into, let me close this, into the republic, right? And understanding the difference in the two and why the United States is a republic. The Constitution states that it's a republic. That's it. There's no democracy. All right. Now, All right. The Constitutional Republic. Um, let me see. All right. Now, the United States is called a democracy because it operates as a representative democracy, meaning that citizens elect officials to represent their interests in government. Oh, I'm going to stop right there. Okay. Y'all that's listening, okay, this what I'm giving y'all is the keys to life in this fucking physical major. Fuck all that spiritual shit. Fuck all the conspiracy theory shit. This is the realest shit you can ever learn, and this is as real as it gets. Okay, it's understanding that right there. That 100 fucking percent of people that I've talked to this past week do not know, nor understand, nor give a fuck to know, nor care to know, nor want to know. All they want to know is they're talking tangerine is the greatest thing that since fucking sliced bread, or the other side who wants to fucking kill him and hang him and all this other stupid shit. All right. They don't have none of these motherfuckers had a clue what's going on. Okay. I'm going to read that again and stop and pause again. All right. The United States is called a democracy because it operates as a representative democracy, meaning that citizens elect officials to represent their interest in government. Okay. Can you believe that? Can you believe that shit right there? But the Constitution itself says it's a republican form of government, meaning it's a republic, right? It's a republic. So how the hell is the citizens electing officials to represent their interests in government? That's what you're doing when you're voting. All right. That's what y'all doing when y'all voting. Okay. That's what y'all motherfuckers doing when y'all vote. All right. Look at this story. All right. I'm gonna go over here, share the screen, right here. And again, this is my video that they got up here. Okay. I need to collect so I could have made a fortune off of this shit. It's on national news. But anyways, updated 2 hours ago, RPD chief's letter. Officers acted in good faith when called to assist Border Patrol. These motherfuckers be lying, man. You know, put an untenable position. Okay. I ain't gonna read the letter, but it's right here. We're gonna read the letter for shits and giggles, right? 2 RPD sworn, right? Border Patrol incident. The RPD will always respond to a call from other law. I get that, 100%. I get that. Hey, that ain't even deniable. Okay, we expect that, right? But somebody should know the policy, or was y'all out there breaking that shit and you just got caught, right? As we all know, the job of law enforcement is to often compliment. They're just cops-plaining. All right. Our primary role is to ensure safety of everyone involved. And also, guess what, RPD? Guess what? These same police department. Guess what? This same. Yo, man, this is crazy, man. That's why I don't fuck with Rochester, because they do too much. But guess what? This same. After I read this, I'm gonna show you what this same police department did yesterday. Okay. Now. All right, we okay. I said, as we all know, the job law enforcement is often complex and demanding. We all know that there are many incidents, such as evictions, for example, where the primary role is to ensure safety and everybody involved. Okay, recently, the reason why they said that is to make the libs happy in Rochester, because it'd be a lot of that shit going on. Whatever. Recently, while acting in good faith, our members were called upon to render mutual aid. Like what? A bitch was bleeding? What are y'all talking about? Like what? Mutual aid? They had it under control, okay? There was anybody can see there was no threat. They wasn't scared. They was not fearful of the lady at all, okay? because they could have defended themselves, which I thought they did a really good job of restraining themselves, give them that. But anyways, it was reported to be an emergency situation from the other law enforcement agencies. In this case, those agencies were Border Patrol and Homeland Security investigators. No, the fuck it wasn't. Okay. They was not scared. There was no urgency. There was none of that. The cops were called when the one investigator walked to his undercover car and retrieved the window fucking smasher, called them and said, look, we're about to break the fucking window. We need some backup. We don't know how, whatever. And them bitches came flying like it was a murder scene, okay, of a cop. They wouldn't even have responded like that if it was a citizen shot. I mean, they were hopping curb. They came from all directions with a lieutenant. A lieutenant never shows up. But by a lieutenant showing up shows me they had some kind of detail in that area, because that motherfucker showed up with them, okay? You can't fool me. That's why they won't play the goddamn video. They're showing pictures from the shit. But anyways, upon arrival, it became apparent that there was no emergency, so y'all should have hauled ass, nor are there any indication, all right, or communication regarding possible weapons. Primary observation revealed that the occupants of the vehicle had locked the doors and refused to comply with the members of the Border Patrol and HSI, as it states they can according to the laws of the United States, okay? As police officers, we all feel the need to help. Help what? To step in and step up. And that's why we're here to serve. All right, yeah, okay. But we also need to always bear in mind that different agencies have different it's called different agencies have different policies and rules. And then you have the Constitution of the United States, which states all people, okay? That's what they're not talking about. All right, okay. The RPD is a response to ensure the safety of everybody in our community, was placed in a difficult position of having to take on the lead role of coaxing the occupants out, a task that should have fallen onto the responsibility of Border Patrol or HSI. Y'all should have told them motherfuckers, like, look, man, this is a sanctuary city. We ain't trying to get in no bullshit. There's cameras around here recording this shit. Y'all need to get the fuck out of here because we ain't about to get in trouble. Let them go. You should have assisted them to let them go. They coming from work. There was no threat. There was no crime. Nobody was arrested. They were just apprehended. Well, RPD went the greater mile and got the trophy. So rather than take the lead, Border Patrol stood by. Look at that. Stood by as this occurred, ceding the authority. See, what it was they were taking the heat. Now they're not taking the heat no more. All right. Although Border Patrol, HSI had an important job to do, they come up and go to the community and will often be unannounced. I have reached out to the local leadership of both Border Patrol and HSI in order to ensure that we may clearly communicate the roles of our respective agency regarding one another. I again stress that we have always done our mission statement in crime reduction, service professionalism. No, you don't. I allowed our compliments on a daily basis, but it is also my job as chief of this agency to take corrective action when it comes to my attention in a thoughtful and measured manner. It was my expectation that we continue to support the safety of our law enforcement. Why don't you just shut the fuck up and say, yeah, we messed up. Sorry. We messed up. Sorry. But anyways, look what the hell RPD dude does the next day. I mean, not the next day, yesterday. Okay? Look at this shit. Look at this shit. All right, look at this shit. Okay, look at this crap right here. Look at this shit right here. This is the same police department. This shit Roger the police be doing. Man, they be doing some stupid shit. Okay. Look at this shit right here. Why can't I? Look at this shit right here. 2 RPD cars crash on Interloop after being called for backup. They done since changed the story. The headline said earlier, 2 RPD cars crash after being called to a suspicious call, which turned out to be a hoax. It said 2 Rochester police cars crashing each other on the Interloop near Scioto Street on Sunday night while responding to what RPD is calling a false report of kidnapping. Look at that. They crashed into each other. Now, this is the same police department that could make it in force with a hell of a response for some shit that ain't got nothing to do with nothing, but can't get to a scene without colliding. Okay. Yeah. I mean, they're known for doing stupid shit like this. But can you believe that? But anyways, back to this right here. All right. Back to this right here. All right, because hold on 1 second. Now we're going back to this right here. The United States is called a democracy because it operates as a representative democracy, meaning that citizens elect officials to represent their interests in government. First, why are we even doing some shit like that? Well, we've been convinced, brainwashed, and all that stuff. But it also goes into the flawed democracy, okay? Now, it says the country is also a constitutional republic, which means it follows a system of laws and a constitution that limits government power, period. So, what the hell are representative democracy? What is that? What is going on here? Now, this is law talking. This isn't me. I ain't making this shit up. This is the actual law, what it says, right? These are legal interpretations. Then after that, it says when people vote in elections, they are choosing between different candidates and political parties, but both the Democratic and Republican parties participate in the democratic process. The term democratic administration generally refers to a government led by Democratic Party, but both major parties support the framework of democracy. The distinction lies in their policies and governing philosophies rather than fundamental structure of government. And I'm gonna tell you 100% of people don't even know that, don't understand that, have no clue about that fact. That republic, people wonder why the rights get violated. Well, why they get to do all this stuff, because you voted for it. You did not vote for the United States constitutional republican form of government. You didn't vote for that. You voted for the representative. That's why they call themselves the chief executive, Donald Trump, chief executive officer, the Trump administration. Yeah, okay, let me do this real quick. All right. I mean, this is important as information to know how your government is ran and structured. People don't know. Let me know if y'all can still hear me. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, guys. Hold on. All right, guys. All right, thanks, Brock. Shout out to all y'all still rocking out. Okay, now remember the Trump administration. I just showed y'all what the republic is, right? I'm literally reading y'all what the republic is. Hold on one second. Oops, sorry about that. Hold on one second. 1 second. Okay. Now I just read to y'all that people are voting for a democracy, right? They're voting to elect what? Representatives to represent the government. Like, ain't that crazy? You're literally voting for representatives to represent the goddamn the government. That's wild stuff, guys. I mean, think about how ridiculous that is. And literally, people don't even know this. I mean, I assume people, know a little bit of this shit, but they don't even understand any of this shit. And they don't even care at all. Like, they don't even give a shit, They don't care. It's crazy. Crazy, right? Now, right? The representative, right? This is like that's okay. It's a representative democracy. You have the Trump administration, okay? Now, what is an administration? I mean, it's pretty kind of sad, okay? It's basically the management and settlement of the estate of a deceased person by a legally appointed administrator or executor. It also refers to the government or authority in charge of managing public affairs. And you already know, under this administration, if you study law and you know a thing or two, you already know you're a fiction, you're dead entity, you're not alive. Okay, you only exist on paper when you're dealing with these people. Well, why is that? Well, it goes into the word administration. All right, it's the management and settlement of the estate of the deceased person, right? By a legally appointed administrator or executor. That's why everything is administrative, right? It's administrative proceeding. They can't deal with live people. They cannot deal with a living, breathing soul. I mean, this is things that a lot of us heard over the years and know. Well, it all ties back to what the hell kind of government you live in, right? And that was the definition from 1870, guys. Now we're going to 1910. Same thing. But watch how it changed over the years. The act of administrating or managing affairs, particularly concerning the estate of a deceased person of a government or a public office, it includes probate and distribution of an estate, right? Governmental control and management of public affairs. Everything is public. Because that means that's why you're a corporation. You're not real. Okay, you're dead in law, right? Third edition, 1933. The practical management of estates, trusts. Whoa, wait a minute. The third edition in 1933. Well, that's when they changed the gold standard. And guess what? Yeah. Right? Look how the definition have changed. I'm giving you guys straight fucking, I mean, these are straight jewels. They're unrefuted. Yusuf L runs from me because of this shit. That he's bullshit. He's pushing on there with this fucking Donald Trump and Elon shit. Like, seriously. And this is supposed to be the guru of the internet of this law shit. All right. Now I think he's deliberately doing what he's doing, but it is what it is. They ain't never teach you no shit like this because they don't want you to know. Right? 1933, the legal definition. The practical management of estates, trusts. Oh, in God we trust. Everything's in a trust, right? Public trust, right? Sesticate trust, right? All this other shit y'all, heard on the internet, right? When you go in courts, it says in God we trust on there, all right? When they don't know, there's 3 parties to the trust, right? You're the what? Beneficiary. Think about it. You got the one who executes a trust, right? Estate administration, the process of handling the assets and debts of a deceased person. Oh, notice how it changed, guys. Notice how it all changed in 1933, right? The practical management of estates, trust, and government functions. It covers estate administration, the process of handling the assets and debts of a deceased person. Wait, but back in 1910, it was probate and distribution of an estate. Well, what probate is from when somebody dies, you go to court and, all the assets and all the other shit. But then in 1933, it jumps into that's not even in there. It says the process of handling the estates and debts of deceased persons. Well, it's got debt in there now. After 1933, on no more money, all debt. And they put deceased person in there. Public administration, the execution of laws and public policy by government official. Oh my God, that's under the word administration. Oh, that's the Trump administration, the Biden administration, the Bush administration, the Obama administration, the Clinton administration, the Reagan administration. Yeah, it keeps on going on back. Follow the administration. Fuck following the money. Corporate administration, the management of business affairs. Yeah, it's all a corporation, guys. That's 1933 legal definition of administration. The one that is in the office right now, okay? The execution of laws and public policy by government officials. Trump's a government official. He is not the government, okay? I just showed you he's a representative of the government that you voted for them to represent the fucking government that's yours. I mean, come on, man. I hope y'all following along. Whoever's following along, give me a thumbs up. All right, give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. The 10th edition, 2014, administration, the process of managing and settling a deceased person's estate, including distribution of assets and paying debts. Oh, my, has it changed. The execution or enforcement of laws or policies by a government organization. It's not the government. The government ain't doing. Guys, how can you do something to you? You're the people. You're the government. Thanks, Brock. I know you always paying attention. Shout out to you. Right? Think about that. The execution, child of light, shout out to you too. The execution or enforcement of the laws or policies by a government organization, man. Y'all voting for a government that ain't even a government, man. They have no power. Remember during 2020, man, Trump stood up there and couldn't do a damn thing. He couldn't send National Guard to quit. Couldn't do nothing because he has no power because he's a representative of government. And there were people saying, no, can't do that. You don't have that power. I'm going to do an executive order. Motherfucker, you an executive order, bitch. We could refute that and take it to the judicial branch of government, okay? Then we can bring the people on in, and they can say, nah, that shit ain't cool. And again, this same government administration is the one that strips you of your rights because why? You vote for it. It's simple and plain and simple. But guess what, guys? I done went through 7 documents on a pistol permit, and none of them apply to they wouldn't apply to me. When I'm done with all of them, I'm gonna go apply. All right. And then I'm gonna show everything I did to get disregard all that shit that they're talking. Right. That's for you guys, the Democrats, and the Republicans that believe they're not Democrats, the liberals, they're all liberals, right? So again, we're gonna keep on going. So to see how it changed, the administration definition, right? We in 2014 now. The execution or enforcement of laws or policies by a government organization. Everything is administrative process. What is that? They're execution and enforcement of laws and policies. Really policies, not laws. and in the management of corporate or organizational affairs, right? Your corporations. We're all walking around here as corporations, right? Think about that. It's pretty crazy stuff, man. So now we're going to go back into the whole democracy and the whole republic thing. All right, hold on one second. Read this again, guys. The United States is called a democracy because it operates as a representative democracy, meaning that citizens elect officials. Remember, used to be before, right? They tell you, oh, it goes to electoral college and they do all this stuff and they do all this stuff. No, that's long over. They still say it does electoral college, but they want you to vote. Your vote counts. And, I got to come out and say it. I mean, we all been saying it for years that your vote don't matter, but guys, it fucking matters, okay? It matters. All right, your vote absolutely does matter. This is probably the first time you ever gonna hear this come out in the truther community realms and all the shit that you heard. But your vote actually counts. They tricked us. I told you they had us under mind control, so we stay the fuck away, so we can't figure this shit out. Okay, your vote actually does count. You know what it counts towards? The democracy, okay? Because that right there eliminates the original electoral votes for the republic, okay? They masquerade it and say the people want this. Therefore, the representatives can't say no. They can't, and all their people are sitting in those representatives positions any goddamn way, okay? And people are like, oh, so what are you talking about? We can't do anything. You can't do anything. Oh, you can, all right? Understand that there's no voting process. The people are already the power. There is no voting process. It wasn't built off of voting. Study the Constitution. You'll see there's no voting involved in the Constitution. All right. So your vote counts towards a representative democracy. That's why they pushed it so hard. Okay. They pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. So therefore they could ignore and nobody will know. And all the people who were understood of this, which they used to teach, okay, is dead and gone. All right. The country is also a constitutional republic, which means it follows a system of laws and a constitution that limits government power. When people vote in elections, they are choosing between different candidates and political parties. But both the Democratic and Republican parties participate in the democratic process. Somebody actually had the nerve after I told him all that says he voted Republican. He doesn't care what I say. Unbelievable. You're like talking to a 5-year-old. The term democratic administration generally refers to a government led by the Democratic Party. But both major parties support the framework of democracy. The distinction lies in their policies and governing philosophies rather than the fundamental structure of government. Boom. Nothing else to say. All right. Now, oh man. Okay. We're going to go into what the republic is that they want to keep you from and give you this democracy, right? So you have, what is a republic, right? And I already read all this, but I'm going to be reading it again. Okay. Let me see. I don't want to read that part. I already read that part. Okay. Now, why have I been harping on this, right? Because we all know they're stripping everything away from us. All right. They're taking it. All right. We already know Hamilton. Justice is a pursuit. Justice is the end of government. It has ever been and always will be pursued until it be obtained or lost, or liberty be lost in its pursuit. And that's what they're doing. you know. And for me, a person who disregards other people's rights, freedom, and liberties, and supports government overreach, right? It's just, it's ridiculous. And that right there is overreach, because that'll lead to something else, So, it is what it is, man. Um, Let me get on here. Let me pull this thing up on the Republic. And I'm going to show y'all where your power sits in this whole time. Nobody, nobody cares to know. Nobody wants to know. Nobody wants to understand. Oh, man, let me see. Now, all right, I'm about to just go into this thing. It might be longer than I want it to be, and it might be some shit that I said, but it's going to be strictly on this whole part of, this is where our rights lie, okay? Our rights lie here, and that's where it's at. And the reason why our rights here is because it's by the people. This is why illegals have rights. It's persons, it's humans. It was understood that humans got a right above all else, above everything else. Hold on 1 second. So, hold on 1 second. All right. I don't want to go through all that right there, man. I don't want to read all that. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go straight there, 0 to 100. Okay. Now, you have democracy versus the republic, right? We are unfortunately in a democracy, right? And I say we because I put myself in with everybody else. Hold on. Because I say we, and again, hey, it's just what it's our own fault. We all at fault. I'm at fault for the shit too, But like I said, like we all said, don't vote. One thing we all got right was don't vote. Imagine if we didn't vote, and we actually did know this. Imagine if this was the awakening we did, was we birthed our Constitution, right? We put our energy behind it. None of this stuff would have happened. All right. They would have just had to go straight tyrannical. I don't believe they would have did it. All right. Now, what's the difference between a constitution? What's the difference between the fundamental foundations of a democracy versus a republic, right? Democracy is a system in which the people exercise power directly through the elected representatives. In pure direct democracy, the majority rules without constitutional limits. That's what we're in, guys. Like, that's what we're in. Now, a republic, okay? Now, a republic, hold on 1 second. Now, a republic is a system in which the government is bound by the Constitution that protects individual rights, preventing the majority rule from infringing on minority rights. Now, you'll think that means black person or something like, no. You got majority and you got the minority. Simple and plain, plain and simple. Now they did, I don't want to go into how they flipped that minority shit to keep us long ago. They've been stripping this shit for a long time, guys. That minority shit is to hide the republic. All that, oh, it's because of minorities and shit. That shit's for the republic. That's to hide the republic. When I hear all that shit coming out of these people's mouths, I'm like, these some fucking Democrat, liberal bullshit. They have no clue about nothing, what the fuck ever is going on. I said, that's the brainwash shit from a long time ago, okay? Let me know if y'all still following. That's the brainwash shit. Because this right here, guys, you know, if y'all getting this shit, this is the fucking jewel of the, I ain't saying that just to, you know, for you know, shits and giggles or some kind of, you know, condescending or some conceited way. This is it. This is what our reality in the United States is. Okay. There's no, you don't got to do anything magical. You don't got to search into a secret society. You don't got to fucking go count the fucking numbers. You don't got to do any goddamn thing. This is what it is. Okay. Let me know if y'all can still hear me. Anybody scream. Let me know. Looks like the camera thinks that the thing's still moving. Let me know. Let me know. I'm gonna keep going. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Shit. I know it's a delay. Somebody. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Brock. Okay, I'm gonna read that again real quick. A democracy is a system in which the people exercise power directly through elected representatives in a pure direct democracy, which we ain't there yet, guys. That's where we're going. People think democracy is, you know, they're right, but they don't understand that's not, you know, we ain't all the way there yet. They're operating as that, but once it goes full democracy, where Donald Trump is taking, oh shit. Thanks, John Wayne. Then it's a wrap, man. All right. In a pure direct democracy, the majority rules without constitutional limits. Think about that. Now, a republic is a system in which the government is bound by a constitution. That means, bitch, you know, y'all can't do this because this is for you. Okay. That protects individual rights, preventing majority rule from infringing on minority rights. Okay. The U.S. is a constitutional republic. That's it. Ain't nothing else to talk about. Meaning laws and government actions are constrained by the U.S. Constitution and the law. Okay. You know this, your life becomes a lot fucking easier. Okay. And again, okay, you got to establish yourself under there. Right. Because I'm going to get into that too. All right. Now, the U.S. Constitution guarantees a Republican form of government. I already read that, but I'll read it again. The United States shall guarantee to every state in this union a Republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion and on application of the legislature or executive when the legislator cannot be convinced against domestic violence. Okay. This means that states must function as republics and cannot establish direct democracies where majority rule overrides constitutional protections. All right. Now, there's been case laws that's upheld this, right? Luther versus Borden, 1849, guys. The Supreme Court ruled that whether a state maintains a Republican form of government is a political question, and Congress, not the courts, must decide. This case reinforced that states must uphold constitutional protections rather than function as pure democracies. Pacific States Telephone and Telegraph Co. versus Oregon. Challenged Oregon's initiative and referendum process, arguing that it violated the Republican form of government clause. The court ruled that this was a political question, leaving it to the matter of Congress, reinforcing that Republican governance is structurally required but politically enforced. Individual rights versus majority rules. This was a case, guys. West Virginia Board of Education versus Brunette. The court ruled that a majority Democratic decision cannot force individuals to act against their constitutional rights. That is a big one, guys. Point blank, period. That means anything these motherfuckers is doing, okay, if it goes against the Constitution, bye-bye. It don't apply, all right? It don't apply. You know, they could use, oh, well, you know, this is the representative. While this Constitution is still here and the way it sits is our power. Y'all keep eroding away and keep ignoring it, keeping it, thinking it's stupid, keep truthing, keep doing all the stupid shit, and it's gone. And then you can kiss it goodbye. Key quote from Justice Robert Jackson: the very purpose of the Bill of Rights was to withdraw certain subjects from the veracities of political controversy. Fundamental rights may not be submitted to vote. They depend on the outcome of no elections. Again, your fucking vote don't count. Again, you don't need to fucking vote. Again, the Republican government, the republic, right, that we are in, you don't need to fucking vote. There don't need to be representatives of government. The government is what it is. All right? Simple. The president is supposed to say, yay, build the road. Yay, do this. Yay. Not, yeah, we're going to make men men and women are women now. Yay, clap your hooves and cheer. Y'all motherfuckers elected government officials to do stupid shit like that and then sign executive orders, all right? Executive under executive branch under the administration that are void according to the U.S. Constitution. Point blank, period. Okay. Now, that case shows how Republican structure of the U.S. protects individuals from the majority rule infringing on fundamental rights. This is why I go and hit home runs in family fucking court, and the shit that they be throwing does not stick. Okay. And this is why I've been helping other people in these same situations hit the fucking home goddamn run, because there's nothing to fucking talk about at all. Zero. When you start putting this shit down and you show that, listen, I don't give a shit what they say. They are representatives. They don't, it does not apply. Okay. Because I'll read this again. Right. West Virginia State Board of Education versus Burnett, 1943. The court ruled that a majority Democratic decision cannot force individuals to act against their constitutional rights. This shit, I mean, guys, this shit is so fucking powerful. It's motherfuckers out here that will charge a motherfucker $5,000-$6,000. A lawyer won't even do this for you and do less and charge you like 10 grand to know this shit right here. All right. The court ruled that the majority Democratic decision cannot force individuals to act against their constitutional rights. The key quote from Justice Robert Jackson: the very purpose of the Bill of Rights was to withdraw certain subjects from the veracity of political controversy. Fundamental rights may not be submitted to vote. They depend on the outcome of no election. This case shows how the Republican structure of the U.S. protects individuals from majority rule, infringing on fundamental rights. Federalist number 10, James Madison, 1787. Madison warned about the dangers of pure democracy, where the majority factions could easily infringe on minority rights. Don't believe all this black stupid shit, rights and minorities and this and that. They're hiding the fucking republic from your ass. That's what they're doing. They're hiding the republic from you. And I'm going to close out with why they're hiding the republic. All right. He argued that a constitutional republic provides the best protection against tyranny by limiting government power power and requiring adherence to the Constitution. This is what you do. You limit the power they have by knowing and understanding the principles of law, but you must act accordingly. Okay, it's not just you do whatever the fuck you want to do. No, you're an upright individual. You're not going to do wrong. Learning this stuff will make you not want to do wrong. You know, I wasn't even doing shit wrong, but I was like, you know what? I need to get me a motherfucker. I don't feel like fucking with these people doing all this other stupid shit. Okay, but rightfully so, you don't need one. But you're dealing with a democracy and you got to do all this administrative bullshit. And they got it like that. You know, that's a part of their tyrannical fist that they punch you and beat the shit out of you, okay, and wear you out so you don't go your route. I mean, that's what they do. You know, they have this whole administrative bullshit that will just tire you out, wear you out, you know, even when you know this shit. So, you know, sometimes you just say, you know what? And I don't even feel like fighting that battle, you know? All right. Now, democracy versus the republic. Decision making. This is from the government, guys. Decision making. Majority rule for the democracy. The republic has constitutional limits. Now, the feature of the difference in the practice of each of these, protection of rights. Democracy can be overridden by the majority. That's what they do. I see them do this shit all the time in family court, man. Use some best interest of the child doctrine. That is majority. That is, they say majority of children. We believe that the majority of children want this. No, bitch, that ain't my child. Okay, what the fuck y'all talking about? That don't apply to me. All right. No, it's a case-by-case basis. That's how this shit works. Okay, this is individual rights. This isn't no fucking majority. What the fuck you talking about? We should have used what is here to protect yourself now. All right? Now, the protection of rights can be overridden by the majority in a democracy. In a republic, it's protected by the Constitution. There's nothing else to talk about. State constitutions uphold this shit too. All right? The example system is a direct democracy, okay, like ancient Athens, and, you know, it gets into all that shit. I'm not going to read all that. Now, the U.S. government, constitutional republic, all right? Now, the court's involvement in a democracy is less judicial oversight. That's why you ain't seen the goddamn Supreme Court and shit doing anything. They just chill. Why? Well, because we ain't operating in it. It's simple. We're not operating in it. You know? Simple. That's why it's left judicial oversight. But guess what? In a republic, courts uphold constitutional limits. So, oh, man. Now, state ballot initiatives and referenda are forms of direct democracy, but must still comply with constitutional protections, okay? That lets you know that they're irrelevant. What that basically says is state ballot initiatives and referenda are forms of direct democracy, but must still comply with constitutional protection. That's why the democracy is flawed. And that's why they need to get rid of the fucking Constitution and make it a full democracy. All right. Supreme Court decision often emphasize that rights are not subject to majority vote, a hallmark of a Republican system rather than a pure democracy. What people doing? What? Electoral college is a Republican safeguard against pure majority rule in a presidential elections. But if we look, I broke down the Electoral College in a video before. It's not the Electoral College from the Constitution in the Republic. All right? It's not at all. Point blank period, it's not. So, now, the United States is a constitutional republic, not a pure democracy. It's not a democracy at all. The Constitution and case laws that establish this is the majority rule is limited by constitutional rights. The Republican form of government clause ensures that states cannot operate as direct democracies. All right. Well, what are they doing like in New York State? They operating like a democracy. All right. It's pretty, man, this stuff is crazy. The Republican form of government clause ensures, oh, I already read that. Supreme Court precedents affirm that individual rights cannot be overridden by Democratic vote. Okay. Now these are all like jewels. Like I'm talking not even, these ain't even diamonds. This shit is like gold. Okay. Diamonds ain't worth shit. Gold is, right? Now, hold on 1 second. No, we're gonna go into okay. Oh man, there's too many case laws to read. I'm not about to read all these case laws. There's a lot of good ones. There's Reynolds versus Sims. Do state legislative districts have to be based on equal population? Yes, the court ruled that representation must be based on equal population to ensure one person, one vote, right? This case balanced democratic representations within a constitutional frame where ensuring fair legislative districts, right? And it says City versus Boran Flores. Can Congress expand religious protections beyond what the Supreme Court allows? No. Congress cannot override the Supreme Court's interpretation of the Constitution, even if elected representatives support the change. Reinforces that Constitution, not majority rule, determines individual rights. And that's what it's all about, individual rights. All right, let me move along to get into the nuts and bolts about this. All right. Now, citizenship and sovereignty, right? In the legal frameworks of the United States. All right. Natural persons, legal entities, government authority. All right. Common law, statutory law, and constitutional law. Like a lot of people don't understand all this stuff is in play. All this stuff is here. And, it's just hidden from all of us. Some of us know. Okay. But when I tell you 100% of people did not know, okay, they either just said, all the people that are, so-called awake, they just said, oh, yeah, we know our votes don't count. And, we know it's all bullshit, instead of like actually breaking it down and saying, no, you don't understand what the hell is going on. Okay. But anyways, the United States, okay, this goes under understanding your status under U.S. law, okay? United States is a constitutional republic, meaning that the government derives its power from the consent of the governed, we the people. Citizenship in the republic, as opposed to being considered a mere legal person under statutory law, is based on constitutional recognition, not corporate or administrative governance. All right. Think about that. Wait a minute. Like what? Right? They always talk about the stuff, stands, this, that. Understanding your status under U.S. law. The United States is a constitutional republic, meaning that government derives its power from the consent of the government, we the people, right? Which is just the people. The same we the people that is, if you're undocumented or not, you got constitutional protections. All right. Citizenship in the republic, as opposed. All right. Now, this is the law talking, guys. As opposed to being considered a mere legal person. Okay. Under statutory law is based on constitutional recognition. All right. not corporate or administrative governments. The 14th Amendment, 1868, introduced a concept of a citizen of the United States, which some argue created a statutory legal entity distinct from sovereign individuals under the original republic. Now, remember, guys, I'm the one that came out here and told y'all that sovereign citizenship was not an oxymoron. I'm the one that came out of here talking. This is what got me kicked out of USFL's platform, because I was showing them you're talking bullshit. All right. This whole sovereign citizen was to keep you away, like conspiracy theorists, right? Like using the word cult. That's what sovereign citizen was, because they don't want you to know that you are sovereign, right? Your rights do matter individually. They don't want you to go, no, they don't want you to know this, right? They want you to vote for Donnie, right? They want you to vote for Donnie, Puppet Trump. They want you to vote for him, man, because he represents the government, man. He represents the government. He ain't the government. He represents you. Ain't that crazy? You hired a motherfucking lawyer. That's why they all lawyers, man. They representatives. Come on, man. This ain't that hard to understand, right? But anyways, I'll read that again. The 14th Amendment, 1868, introduced the concept, and these are legal writings, guys. This is the law interpreting the law, all right? Introduced the concept of a citizen of the United States, which some argue created a statutory legal entity distinct from sovereign individuals under their original republic. This is what it is. That's what they did. It says it right there. Citizenship in a republic, as opposed to being considered a mere legal person under statutory law, is based on constitutional recognition, not corporate or administrative governance. Simple. And it even says right here, sovereign individuals. So all that sovereign citizen is this and that. No, man, that's wrong. I've been telling y'all that for the past 2 years. That's dead wrong. I used to come out here and say the same shit. It's an oxymoron. You can't be a citizen inside. Oh, yes, you can. It's in the law dictionary. All right. Here, let me read it. Where's my law dictionary? Let me bust it out real quick. Let me get it real quick. You're not going to be at the bottom. Let me bust out the law dictionary. Okay. All right, we're going to bust it on down. Citizen. You can hear me flipping through the pages. Citizen. Shout out to all you that's still rocking out. Let me see. So let me see here. Look. You can see I'm still flipping. Look at that. If you can see, I'm flipping right through this. Can you see? Boom. This is from the 1800s right here. So you can see me flipping through it. I'm gonna read it right out to you. Doesn't get any more clear than this. Sit. All right, citizen. Here we go. Wish I can get the camera down here. Citizen. Yeah, y'all can't see it from here. But anyways, we're going to do it like this. In general, a member of a free or juror society possessing all the right. Remember, this is based off of a Constitution of the United States, of the Republic. That's what this is based off of. It's not some democratic shit. It's not some hoopla. The dictionary, the terms, the words are based off the Constitution. Well, no, the Constitution was formed under the framework of law. Okay. So citizen, all right, in general, a member of a free juror society possessing all the rights and privileges which can be enjoyed by any person. People are like, don't use the word person. I done broke that down, okay? Use the word. You identify yourself. They don't. Don't let the administrators identify you. You are the sovereign, right? So you identify yourself to them so they know your rights are protected. All this stupid shit has been around for so many years. It's actually so easy. It's simple, man. Okay. In general, a member of a free city or juror society possessing all the rights and privileges which can be enjoyed by any person under its constitution and government, and subject to the corresponding duties. In American law, one who is under the Constitution and laws of the United States has a right to vote for civil officers, right? Think about what this was written, right? And himself is qualified to fill elective office. Then it says, after that period, then it says, one of the sovereign people, a constituent member of the sovereignty synonymous with the people. Oh, a member of the civil state entitled to all its privilege. Then it comes down here. It says all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. I mean, guys, don't get more simple than that. Doesn't get more simple than that. So let me go on. Doesn't get more simple than that. You're a citizen. You're a sovereign. They don't want you to know about the shit. All old legal writings say it. All old legal writings state it. The Constitution stated. When you study the Republic, it states it. Doesn't mean you're a sovereign citizen doing stupid, dumb shit. Stop that. You know, it's just you have rights. I mean, this ain't even difficult. You know. So again, read this stuff. Read it all down. This is one hell of an education right here. This ain't even education. This is an enlightenment right here. Citizenship in the Republic. I'm gonna read this over because I read all that. All right, I'm gonna go back up. Understanding your status under the law. The United States is a constitutional republic, meaning the government derives its power from the consent of the governed, we the people. Citizenship in the republic, as opposed to being considered a mere legal person under statutory law, is based on constitutional recognition, not corporate or administrative governance. I mean, you put this shit in your documents, man, when you challenging these people or standing on business, man, you talk about duck and run. They don't want nothing to do with your ass. They want nothing to do with none of this shit because it's still here. You're protected under it. Okay. The 14th Amendment, 1868, introduced the concept of the United States citizen of the United States, which some argue created a statutory legal entity distinct from sovereign individuals under the original part. Like, this is them telling you that shit. All right. Now, the judicial versus executive frameworks, executive branch, corporate governance. The executive branch administers laws, which includes agencies, regulations, and administrative procedures, right? Critics argue that administrative law treats individuals as subjects of governmental oversight rather than sovereign people. This is the law talking. This is a legal interpretation from lawyers. This is like what they call peer reviews from fucking lawyers, right? Judicial branch, common law and rights. The courts interpret constitutional rights and common law principles, which are often invoked in a certain individual's sovereignty and standing as one of the people. Man, that ain't some powerful shit. I don't know what else to tell you. All right. If you wish to, this is them telling you this. If you wish to establish yourself under the republic rather than an administrative jurisdiction, these are the legal strategies often used and discussed in declaring your political status and your rights. Now, this is powerful stuff, guys. All right, you ain't gonna find this on the internet. Okay, it's not gonna be hitting around there. You got to go where these people go, what they used to put on us. That's where you got to go to read it all, to peel it off of you. Simple. All right. declaring your political status, right? Some advocate formally declaring your status as a state national or a citizen of the republic rather than a federal U.S. citizen under the 14th Amendment. This may involve affidavits, declarations, and legal notices to government agencies asserting that you are one of we the people. They'll tell you, oh, say I'm the living man, I'm the living, breathing man, I was blood in my bowl and God, and I'm from Jesus and the Bible, and whatever the stupid shit. It just said, you're one of the people. That's it. This is them telling you, this is one of the people, right? It says this may involve affidavits, declarations. That's when you do a declaration. You do a status declaration, right? Affidavit of status declaration, right? And you put legal notice, affidavit, declaration of status, point blank period. It says notices the government agency, because that's all they are. They're agencies of the government. They don't have power. That's not the government you're dealing with. Asserting that you're one of the people under the constitutional law, not corporate status. All right. Asserting constitutional rights in court when dealing with the government agencies. Some argue that one should challenge statutory jurisdiction by invoking common law and constitutional protections. This means refusing to accept administrative processes as binding and demanding that any dispute be adjudicated in constitutional courts, Article 3 courts, not administrative courts. That is the number one problem everybody has. This is how when beating down people's throat on the other side. All right. Understanding legal entities and the straw man argument. Right. Some legal theorists claim that a corporate legal entity, strawman, was created for each individual at birth through a birth certificate and social security number, making individuals subject to statutory law rather than constitutional law. The strategy some propose to reclaim your legal entity by filing paperwork that separates from the NASA person, living man, woman, the legal fiction, corporate entity, capital letter, e.g. Don Doe, all that stuff. Now, this is what they're telling you. They didn't tell you this above, but they're telling you with all this shit down here, what I just told you. Courts have historically rejected many sovereign citizen arguments that claim individuals can opt out of statutory jurisdiction. However, constitutional rights remain enforceable if properly asserted, meaning you must demand recognition of due process and constitutional protections. You must challenge statutory assumptions without making claims that courts have already ruled legally invalid. You must challenge statutory assumptions without making claims that court have already ruled as legally invalid. All right? To assert your status under the Republic, you need to understand the judicial system and how to invoke constitutional protections effectively. This involves using constitutional law rather than statutory arguments. You don't argue because guess what? Constitution ain't nothing to argue about. There's nothing to argue about. And if case law was already ruled on based on the Constitution, ain't shit to talk about. But put that case in there and say, like, shit, this situation, we already been through this. Ain't no sense of wasting no time and beating around the bush. Administrators. All right. Challenging administrative overreach by demanding judicial review. Demand a judge. Judicial review. Judicial court. Judicial proceeding. Judicial precedent. Judicial law. Judicial case law. Ain't nothing else to talk about. I don't want to talk about what happened in the relationship. That don't even matter. That's just arguing. That's arguing assumptions, presumptions, and administrative garbage. No, we talk about the law. Did I hurt anyone? Did I harm anybody? Did I violate anybody's rights? Okay, if not, all right. Give me everything equally because we're all equal under the law as we the people. Point blank period. Ain't nothing else to talk about. Declaring and documenting your political status in legally declaring and documenting your political status in legally recognized ways. All right. which is using constitutional law rather than statutory arguments, challenging administrative overreach by demanding judicial rule. Now, this all comes from LexisNexis. This is what they use. This is how they interpret things. I mean, this is just, it is what it is. Let me know if y'all still here. Because y'all just got, I mean, you guys just got, and this has got to be the most valuable information you ever going to see on the internet that brings it all together. All right. Because this is what it is. You know, this is what it is. So the Republic, what I got up here, guys, that's where your power lays, and that's where that's what they taken. So shout out to everybody. Let me know if y'all still here, right? Let me know if y'all still here. This is where all our protections is at, guys. You know, all this hoopling, hollering, yelling about a fucking gun. Oh, I ain't got no gun rights and this and that. What do you mean? You got a right to bear arms. What are you talking about? You mean to let administrative government tell you some stupid shit and you believed it? When they came out with a case and said a motherfucker could have it, that's illegal under the Constitution, man, you couldn't tell me shit, man, when you open that bag of bones. When I hear stupid shit like that, I'm about to research the hell out of it. I got a lot of knowledge I just spit to y'all from that alone. Thank you, Brock. You know? I mean, this shit is, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it ain't, there's no if, ands, are going around this shit. You know, this is why they want you to stay away from it. I just read y'all the whole sovereign citizen shit. This is a dictionary from 18 something. I read citizen now. Look, okay. That was from 1800s law dictionary that birthed all the ones that all the gurus talk about. I'm about to go into, okay, what's this? This one is, which one I'm about to pull out first from this box? This one is right here. Look, this one right here is, this is the 4th edition. I got the 4th. What one is down there? All right, this is the one I grabbed first, but look, just to show y'all. Boom. See that? That's the 4th edition. Now watch how this shit changed. And then I'm gonna read you the 10th edition. All right, hold on 1 second. 1 second. One second. Okay, let me go read it. This is the 4th edition, and this one was out in, when was the 4th edition published? 1968. Watch the change. Watch the change. And this ain't nothing about, this is about morals and principles of what's right, what's wrong. Follow the law, or we ain't got shit. We're gonna get a tyrannical government. Okay? Follow the law. Everybody gotta follow the law. Citizen. I mean, goddamn, this is like 2 pages now. Citizen. A member of a free society, a member of free city or jural society possessing all the rights and privileges which can be enjoyed by any person under its constitution and government, and subject to the corresponding duties. Citizens are members of a community inspired to a common goal, who, in associated relations, submit themselves to the rules of conduct for the promotion of the general welfare and conservation of individual as well as collective rights. What the fuck? How we went from that to that shit? Okay? How we go from that to that? All right? Think about that. And then it says right here, All persons born and naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and the state where they reside in. Okay. And then it doesn't say anything about one of the people nowhere. 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 Doesn't say sovereign either. See how they got rid of it? In the 10th edition, okay, a citizen, a person who, under the laws of a particular nation or state, is recognized as a member of its political community. What? And who is entitled to the rights and privileges granted. What? You got to get granted by that nation or state, including protection by the government and the ability to participate in a political process. What? What the hell? The definition of citizen can vary based on jurisdiction and legal context. Oh, so they tell you the truth right there. So what jurisdiction are you in? Are you in the judicial or are you in the administrative? Are you in the democracy? Or are you in the republic? You see that? The definition of this is the 10th edition, more complex. I just read to you the one from 1968, the one from the 1860s, and then the one from this is like 2010 or some shit. Okay. The fuck? Round the clock welding fab. Come on, man. Spam in the chat, man. This is no. All right, I'll move that out of here. This is valuable fucking information. We're not about to have no stupid shit going on. That ain't gonna happen. So it says the definition of citizen can vary based on jurisdiction and legal context. In the U.S., for example, it is often linked to specific provisions such as the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution, which grants citizenship to individuals born or naturalized in the U.S. and subject to its jurisdiction. Oh my God! See how they did all this, and then it turns into a citizen may also be described as someone who has the rights and privileges of citizenship. Wait a minute. So a citizen has rights and privileges of citizenship. Wait, how did you go from one of the sovereign people to this shit? What? Such as the right to vote, run for office, and enjoy governmental protections. Like what? We protect ourselves. You got a right to bear arms. What are you talking about? It could also imply the duties or responsibilities, such as paying tax and obeying the laws of the country. So, hey man, oh man, it's just wild stuff, guys. Wild stuff. So, winding it on down, guys. Okay, the Republic. All right. All right, am I going to go this deep? Well, I could tell you how the frameworks of the Republic works, and then you could see how all this it plays into, we the people. Let me see. Sovereignty and self-determination under international law. Now listen to this. The principles of sovereignty under international law, as outlined in the United Nations charters, allows nations to determine their own form of government, including a republican system. The Montevideo Convention, 1933, there's that year again, sets out 4 criteria for statehood: a permanent population, a defined territory, a government, the capacity to enter into relations with other states. A republic meets this criteria by having a constitutional government that represents its people. International recognition and treaties. A nation's status as a republic is reinforced through diplomatic recognition by other states and international organizations like the United Nations. International human rights laws, such as the universe, I already read that. This is like more modern day shit. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna get down to the older stuff. That's more modern day. I don't want to read all this. It's too long. Okay. I don't want to read all that. Oh, shit. Okay. Now, the United States Constitution is the supreme law of the land. The United States Constitution is the primary legal foundation of the Republic. Explicitly states what I got on the screen. The United States shall guarantee to every state in the Union a Republican form of government. The Constitution established a government based on separation of powers, federalism, and representative democracy. See, that's what people don't understand, man, this representative democracy crap, right? The Declaration of Independence. While not a legal document like the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence lays the foundation for the U.S. as a republic by affirming natural rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Government by consent of the government, the right to alter or abolish tyrannical government. Simple, These principles inspired the creation of a constitutional republic rather than a monarchy or a dictatorship. The Federalist Papers, and I already read this earlier, written by Alexander Hamilton and James Madison and John Jay. The Federalist Papers explain why a republic was chosen over all other forms of government. The Federalist number 10, Madison, argued that a large republic helps prevent factions from gaining too much power. Federalist number 39 defines a republic as a government which divides all its powers directly or indirectly from the great body of the people and is administered by persons holding their office during pleasure for a limited period or during good behavior. State constitution and republicanism. Each state constitution is required to be a republican in form as per section 5(4) of the states contribute to the federal republic through elected representation in Congress and the Electoral College. Rule of law, republican governments. The Supremacy Clause established the Constitution as the highest law. The Bill of Rights and later amendments protect individual freedoms, ensuring government remains accountable to the people. All right. The United States, the legal foundation of the Republic of the United States is the Constitution, supported by natural law principles. From the Declaration of Independence, the Federal Papers, arguments, and the requirements for the Republican governments at both federal and state levels, the rule of law, representative governments, and the separation of powers define the Republic under the U.S. law. All right. What else is it? All right, now, check this out. Now, the Federalist Papers, particularly the Federalist number 39, explain that the U.S. was deliberately structured as a republic where the powers derive from the people rather than a monarchy or direct democracy. The people did not vote on whether to have a republic. It was a default system. The people did not vote on whether the U.S. Whether the U.S. should be a republic. The founders designed it that way from the beginning. Instead, the people, through their state ratifying conventions, voted whether to adopt the U.S. Constitution, which established the form and structure of the republic. Elections were designed within the framework of the republic, meaning the people vote for representatives, but the existence of the republic itself was already established. You didn't need to vote for it. The republic exists independent of any single vote. Even if people vote for representatives or policies, the Republican system remains intact because it is embedded in the Constitution. The government is based on laws and principles, not the will of a single ruler or shifting popular opinion. This distinguishes a constitutional republic from a pure democracy or flawed democracy where laws and governance could change solely on majority rule. The United States was founded on a republic and did not require a vote to establish itself as one. It was designated from the beginning to be a government for the people and by the people. The Constitution formalized this structure, and voting takes place within the republic rather than its existence. So, oh man. Despite these critiques, citizens continued to participate in democratic processes for several reasons. Listen to this shit. Representation, number one. Voting allows individuals to have a say in who represents them and how they are governed, embodying the principles of government by consent. Right there is where your problem lies. That's like going to get an attorney. You need an attorney to go turn a light switch on. You need an attorney to take a piss in the bathroom. You need someone to represent you when you go talk to your goddamn mommy and daddy. You need a representative when you go outside. That's what motherfuckers is doing. Representation. Voting allows individuals to have a say in who represent them and how they are governed, embodying the principle of government by consent. That's how you get that representative democracy. You go vote for it. They say, oh, they voted for it. Look how many people voted. I got this many votes. That many votes. Accountability. Regular elections enable citizens to hold leaders accountable for their actions and policies, providing a mechanism for change and responsiveness. Think of what the stuff that's been going on for the past couple of years, right? Why do people continue to vote in democratic systems? For representation, accountability, peaceful transitions of power. Democratic elections facilitate orderly and peacefully transitions between governments, reducing the likelihood of conflicts. Wait, what do you mean between governments? Think about that. What, between governments? What are you talking about? Well, there's a republic and there's one masquerading as a government. That is the democracy. So they have you consent to peaceful transitions of power. You're not going to argue it. So it's a peaceful transition of power. And think about what they're doing. They're transitioning power. Think about it. Biden administration is transitioning to the Trump administration. I can't really sit down and like break that shit down to somebody, but I mean, like these people that don't know what the fuck's going on, because think about it. Y'all know a lot of shit. What's up? Energy and all that stuff. Y'all, you know what's going on. Transition of power. Peaceful transition of power. Think about it. That's all they talked about. Oh, it's going to be peaceful. It's going to be people. And guess what? Why you think Kamala and all the motherfuckers, nobody did nothing. It had to be peaceful. This is how you get a pure democracy. This is how you get the people. Like they couldn't have nothing. They couldn't do nothing. They couldn't do shit because it had to be a peaceful transition of power. What were they transferring? They were transferring all that energy, all that power over to the Trump administration, and he was going to alchemize it and turn all them same people just like they did the other side, transitioning the power. So there's no conflict. Everybody, nothing, and went off like a hitch. Perfect handoff for a touchdown. Protecting rights. Democratic systems often incorporate checks and balances that safeguard individual freedoms and human rights. Yeah. So, democratic governments are generally supported by international law and valued for promoting citizen participation, accountability, and the protection of rights, right? Critics such as the concept of a democratic deficit highlight areas of improvement, but do not render democracy inherently flawed under international law. Therefore, people continue to engage in democratic processes, casting their votes to influence governance in a manner consistent with both national principles and international legal standards. All right. Now, I already went through the flawed democracies, right? Again, they vote because of lack of alternatives, right? Belief in reform over replacement, lesser of two evils, right? Some voters choose to participate because they feel even a flawed democracy is preferable to, than systems like dictatorships, monarchies, or oligarchies, right? Political and media influence. Political leaders and media narratives often reinforces the idea that voting is necessary even in dysfunctional systems. Many people are unaware how deeply flawed their democracy is due to misinformation or partisan narratives. International law and democracy ratings. Oh my God, guys. But anyways, that's your system that I came across that 100% of everybody that I talked to had no clue about. They just said, get the illegals out of here. I don't care what happens. I don't care. They broke the law. Okay. But the Constitution clearly states that all people, okay, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So, if you don't believe in liberty and justice for all, then you don't have liberty and justice in yourself, and you're just plain ignorant, okay? And I'll go back to the word ignorant, right? Just destitute of knowledge, uninstructed or uninformed, untaught, unenlightened. A man may be ignorant of the law or of any art or science. He may be ignorant of his own rights or the rights of others. Okay? Because if you ignorant of the rights of others and don't care about them, then you're not an upright. I don't give a fuck. You're not an upright person. You know? It's good, Deanne. You're not an upright person. Point blank, period. In any way, shape, or form. You know, people saying, oh, they got to go. Damn, well, now, if you would have said, well, they got to go through the process and, you know, the Constitution, you know, hey, it allows them to do what they're doing. You know, I've even went at it with people that are like, oh, the illegals are Jackson Hewitt, they're filing taxes. Yeah, they're doing it the right way. Like, I'm not even about to go through all that right now. Like, they're doing it the right way. Okay. Because let me just read this. So, you know, people don't sit there and say, oh, you know, okay, undocumented immigrants in the United States, okay, they use individual taxpayer identification numbers, ITIN numbers, which is issued by the IRS to individuals who are required to pay taxes but do not qualify for Social Security numbers. The ITIN is used for tax reporting purposes under an Internal Revenue Code. All right, even though the ITIN holders are not eligible for many federal benefits, they are still required to comply with U.S. tax laws and may file returns. So, according to the government and the undocumented immigrants and non-citizens with ITINs can sometimes even receive refunds if they qualify for certain tax credits or if too much tax was withheld from their wages. Okay. Now, if an undocumented immigrant is involved in an immigration proceeding, meaning they're here, but they don't got their papers, they're just waiting or whatever, their tax filings can play a crucial role in their case, depending on the type of relief they are seeking, right? Tax filing and immigration proceedings, the hell, my battery's running low. Oh, it's plugged in. All right. Tax filing and immigration proceedings, certain immigration applicants and relief options require evidence of tax compliance, right? Oh, wait. It says, depending on the type of relief they are seeking, here's how they can play a role in there, but whatever. Okay, hold on. Undocumented immigrants. Oh, wait, hold on. I don't want to read all that. Let me see. Okay, look, the IRS and immigration enforcement. You don't hear about this on the news. They ain't talking about this. The IRS generally does not share tax information with immigration and customs enforcement, ICE, or U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service, USCIS, because tax records are protected under the IRC Section 6103. That means filing taxes typically will not trigger immigration enforcement actions. Oh, how interesting is that? However, if an individual is under investigation or certain legal proceedings, other agencies may access tax records with a court order. Okay? If an undocumented immigrant is pending removal, deportation proceeding, or another immigration case, tax filings can play a crucial role in the outcome. Okay? Cancellation of removal, 10-year rule. Who qualifies? Non-citizens in removal proceedings who have lived in the U.S. for at least 10 years, have good moral character, can prove that their removal would cause exponential, extremely unusual hardship to a U.S. citizen, permanent resident, spouse, or parent, or child. Wait, how taxes can help. Filing taxes regularly shows the applicant has been working and contributing to society, which support their claim of good and moral characters. Yes, they can even have overpaid tax and qualify for certain credits like child tax credits for their child if their child has a social security number. Asylum applicants. Those who fear prosecution in their country and have applied for asylum, while asylum seekers may not be eligible to work legally at first, once they receive an employment authorization document, they are required to pay taxes on income. Filing taxes help prove their physical presence in the U.S. and demonstrate financial self-sufficiency. All right. So, hey, it is what it is. You know, y'all don't know the game. Some of us know the game. Y'all motherfuckers just said, "Oh, get them out of here." Oh, they want you to be tyrannical, so you'll haul Americans off to prisons, and you'll clap and cheer for it because you'll say, "Oh, they're fucking crazy," or they're just, they're just not they don't think like me, so they need to be removed. All right. But yeah, guys, that was a 3-hour serious lesson. Hope y'all got something from it. But I'm about to get ready to get up out of here. But yeah, man, this is what we needed to be learning: the laws and understanding the Constitution and the Republic. We was the ones that were supposed to resurrect the Republic, not these people. But they got us gooking and gobbledygooking and truthing and gobbledygooking and doing stupid shit. This is this is it right here, man. Anything y'all dealing with, you lay this shit down if you didn't do anything. Thanks, man. I appreciate y'all in here. Y'all that I know you stayed the whole thing, and I know Brock stayed the whole entire thing. Shout out to you guys. And there's a lot of other people on here, but that don't comment or whatever. But shout out to them too. But if you understand these principles and you know how to craft it and put it together, shit, you talk about life changing. God damn it, it is what it is. You just know how it operates, And it's a lot to learn, a lot to understand, man, So, but I really appreciate all you guys. And, let me move this banner down. I really do appreciate all y'all, and be more to come. But yeah, this whole hey, look, I don't give a damn. I don't care about the political shit. I don't give a damn about who's who. I don't give a damn who did what did what. The law's there's policies. If you allow one to break the policy, then you're outside the confines of character, of the structure of the Constitution, which creates tyranny. Point blank, period. You need to be held accountable, and that's it. And that's not a liberal use of the word. It's the realest way you're going to get it in using that word. Accountability means y'all fucking violated the policies. Y'all got to uphold the Constitution at the same time, which is they're one of the people because they're here. They didn't commit a crime. Y'all didn't arrest them, so they didn't commit a crime. And ain't none of us talk about say sorry, you fucked up. And why don't you teach people the law? They ain't going to teach people this shit. Why don't they teach them the law? Say, look, well, this is the policy, these are the laws, we're following the Constitution, this is a republic, not a democracy. I mean, this is what it is, and we're doing what we're doing it. Unfortunately, that old hag, Hochul is telling the truth. She said that, hey, look, you can't do this. You don't have no right, no power, no way, shape, or form to do this. All right, so don't do it. And then you have the sheep flock saying, look, you need to uphold the Constitution. They have no clue what the fuck the Constitution is at all. I mean, people. Oh my God. We got constitutional rights. Oh yeah, but you don't want other people to have them, so you ain't got them either. What the fuck you talking about? Go vote. Go cast your ballot. I laugh at this shit. Motherfuckers voting. Voting don't fucking matter. So, it is what it is. So much love to you guys, and I'll talk to y'all later, and let me put up this outro, and I appreciate it. Let me get it ready. Let me get this outro ready. I don't know if it's going to automatically work. But much love to you guys, and I'll talk to y'all later.
So, when you hear me speak and the things I say, I'm speaking to my people.
If you ask me, I'll tell you what is wrong with the world. We're being desensitized from the things we should feel. Living our lives in these times while we suffer inside, and we can't see the problems because the masses are blind. Let's try and find a solution. We're not helping ourselves. We're walking around unattached and disconnected from self. Too comfortable and too scared. That's why we never rebel. That's why we catch me writing rhymes. I'm trying to balance the scales. Put car on the roads. It seems like Dawn of the Dead. Zombies, robots, lemons being misled. It's like we're sheep to the slaughterhouse on the conveyor belt, about to self-destruct, cause we're under a spell. We search for purpose, but nothing ever surfaces. We need to be accountable, cause we're deserving this. Alarm bells are ringing, but it's like you refuse to wake up. Subconsciously you're hitting on the snooze. It's just another day in this world, while we're living under the spell. When you travel through realms, just make sure you prevail. Elevate for yourself. You need to stop sleepwalking. We're blinded by the rubbish and glamorized materials. Imperialism has got us fearing rules. I'm tired of these rappers rapping about